2, 3, 4.
Hello, Pickathon universe. Welcome to Pickathon podcast episode 42. Today is my guest is Erin Rae. It's awesome. She's going to be traveling out here and looking forward to chatting with her. And it's kind of special because I think it's essentially 8 days before the festival. We're kind of going to be, just if you don't know or have been to the festival, we're talking about Pickathon, of course. If you just listen to this podcast because you're just super fan of Erin, she's coming to our festival, and this is kind of a special time. If you've been to Pickathon, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'll just talk about it either way. We took over the farm on the 15th, and we have we built a small city. It's like basically a geriatric horse farm here, and now we have kind of like 20 different neighborhood design build teams, all building some kind of crazy art. And if you've been to the festival, you probably have appreciated it. This year is going to be really special. This is the third year since we've redesigned the idea that why don't we just use the farm to keep folks in the shade all during the day, and then when it gets shady at night or in the afternoon, we can move out to the meadows and the bigger spaces, and that's kind of corresponds when people come. So it's like we always just say like the time of day and landscape to keep folks like in the shade, because you just can't build shade like nature can. And so nature is the best vibe in every way out here at the farm. We have an artist, Nikolai, who flew here from France, and Iche, and they're painting the giant bug creatures called the spirits of the grove, and this kind of, I don't know, it's hard to even explain. We have the paddock stage is this epic kind of sunsets and antlers built that's 15 foot tall, 30 feet wide. It's like 8 feet deep, with thousands of cuts of kind of lumber and offset antlers kind of built into it with lighting, and it's kind of one of a kind, built by Tony Trin he's designing a Trin from Hoffman Construction, along with Gene Sandoval, our local famous architect, who is kind of responsible for the new Civic Pride of Portland, the new terminal in the airport, which is a weird thing to be stoked about. But if you get to see it in August, it's unbelievable what they designed there. So that crew is building the paddock. They're hard at work. We have an incredible team on the orchard, on the farmhouse, on the windmill. The Coyote Cove is looking amazing. Cherry Hill, built by the PSU students, is this concept called Gates, and you have to see it to believe it. It's an incredible kind of fully immersive wraparound architecture installation. Jesse is from Bora, is helping build the market. The market's going to be totally different this year if you've not been. And then the refuge is getting a whole new upgrade. We have kind of cold plunge and sauna and the whole like sanctuary and parlor, and we're building this new space. It's called the atrium, where you kind of, if you're getting a massage or a shower or something like that, 10 minutes before you're due, you basically show up and kind of go into the space. We have water and just chill out, and then it's just all very civilized. And then further in, the woods is being redesigned again this year. So like the wood stage is kind of this crazy swirling organic. On the list of sticks we're collecting, we were laughing about last night, Mark Lakeman, who is the architect who is building the wood stage this year, always has asked for straight funky sticks, medium sticks, short sticks. And we were like, so long, straight, funky sticks was kind of the operations crew's last night question. What is that? I think we got them. I don't know. Yeah, so much going on out here, and I'm excited to talk about it. I'm gonna say hi. Welcome show, Erin.
Maybe if he shows his face today, I
You're welcome. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited.
How is Nashville?
It's good. We're kind of having a cloudy day today, which is nice to have. I've had some very hot, humid days recently, but it's feeling good. Summertime in Tennessee.
I know it. I'm from Kentucky.
Oh, you are? Mm-hmm. What part?
Northern Kentucky, up by Cincinnati. So like Fort Mitchell, Covington. You're a bit close to the big Florence, y'all.
Yes.
You know, you've seen
is that. Like Newport, Kentucky
yes,
has that.
By the Southgate House. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is
awesome.
Yeah. It's just like I grew up there and then went to school, University of Kentucky, and then lived in kind of actually, I was a trumpet player then, but I mean, now I'm kind of a mandolin player. And that I learned in Chapel Hill, Durham, which is like a mecca.
That's a good place to learn mandolin.
Yeah.
I would guess.
I learned from the Bass Mountain Boys. One of the.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. It was so fun. So.
Yes.
It's crazy. Like the energy here, you forget about it, and you know, it's good and seasonal here. Talking about again, it's like there's this kind of like normal life when you're going through, but when you kind of come to Pendarvis Farm during the festival, but even like now when we're building. It's just this amazing collection of human creativity, positivity, and spirit. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's massive amount of like complex things that people are trying to do, but it's really amazing to be here. And I'm like trying to not let this little wormhole pass me by because it goes so fast.
Yeah, I bet. It sounds amazing. This is going to be my first time to Pickathon, but I've heard tell of it for years and years. It's just like anytime I say that I'm going to play this year, people are always like, "Oh, that's the best festival there is." Like, you know, you're gonna have the best time. Yeah,
we will hope to take care of you. It's like I don't know, for some reason it's a lot of these kind of community oriented. We're very kind of community festival where we have a lot of different groups creating something. That's not really a great business model for festivals. You should really like just jack up some crappy stages and, you know, and just call it good instead of like thinking if everything is art and treating people well and all that stuff. But
cold plunge.
Cold plunge. You got it. You are. Are you camping or are you staying in a hotel?
I think we're staying in a hotel.
Well, you have the option. It's a really nice. We actually have like a concierge set up these nice tent sites and. All that stuff is here. Yeah, there's like scratch kitchen, organic kitchen here, and
oh my gosh. Okay.
It's totally ridiculous.
Maybe we'll just roll out our sleeping bags.
No, we have it. You don't need anything.
Okay.
You literally just say, I want a spot, and then they'll say, well, how many folks? And okay, here's your tents, and they'll take you up there. And then we even have like a living room built up in the woods where we do recordings. Actually, you probably have seen some of them, like the pump house in the edge.
Yes.
That's right up in the artist camp area. And it's
amazing.
It's like a little spot that doesn't really exist on the map.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Maybe we will reconsider our plans.
I'll highly recommend
I'll talk to the crew.
Yeah, I'm staying I'm camping and right now it's like so quiet. You're out in the woods and this actual neighborhood out here, you know, we were here in 2006, but now, you know, 2024, there's like houses and apartments and all kinds of crazy stuff button up to this, what used to be a very rural piece of property out here. It's like crazy how neighbors and things are growing around us, you know, or we're adapting. Like the crazy thing about the having brand new neighbors every year is they absolutely assume the worst about a music festival.
Totally.
They're like drugs, sex, rock and roll, you know, just craziness. And then they come or they talk to us. Then it royally confuses them or just completely turns them around. They're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I like it. And what are all these kids doing running around? Art
installations. Yeah,
it's not horrible. And we're just like we're working a lot of crazy little technology things trying to figure out how to not have sound, head out, but the property itself is like this 100 acres of just absolutely gorgeous Pacific Northwest forest, and there's creatures, and I was hearing woodpeckers and all kinds of birds. Definitely some critter was running around. I don't know what it was this morning. It's nice. So
that sounds great.
Did you grow up in Nashville?
I did. Yeah, we moved here from Jackson, Tennessee, which is like West Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been here since like middle school age, and bounced around within the city, lived in, rented rooms with different friends over the years, and but yeah, still here. I still like it.
So so Jackson out in, I'm trying to picture where that is.
It's on I-40, about 2 hours west of Nashville on your way to Memphis. It's like an hour from Memphis.
So in
home
between.
of Carl Perkins, the blue suede shoes.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I knew it was something.
Yeah. There's the Johnny Cash song we presume is about Jackson, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got some good friends from there. My friend, the Colonel.
Oh.
We moved. Yeah. I don't know. Are you familiar with
He played
music?
last year.
That's what I thought. Okay. Yes.
And he blends all the right country styles all the time, and
he's the best.
He's the best. What a great performer. Yeah. What a great band.
One of my great person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we met him. There's this place called the Downtown Tavern, like 10 years ago, a bar on like the downtown little square that's pretty sleepy at night. But our mutual friend Andrew Combs, who's another great musician and songwriter here, connected us, and we've been buds ever since. So, but yeah, we moved here though, starting 6th grade for me, and I kind of just have been here since then. And
was music part of your life there before you moved to Nashville?
Yeah, but not. I guess it just was always around. My parents played music together when I was growing up, and not as their profession, but they're both great singers. My dad's a great entertainer and storyteller and creative people. And so we always there was a house show series in Jackson that we went to. And yeah, they just always found other creative parents to hang out with.
Were you singing as like a little kid with your parents, or like when did you start singing?
When I was very little, I did a little bit with my dad, and then, I'd kind of like make up stuff, play and pretend through the years. But I was pretty shy until like my senior year of high school, senior year. A friend of mine like overheard me singing. She encouraged me to try it. So I was like, "Hey, Dad, maybe I can start singing with you sometimes." And yeah. So I got a guitar for graduation, and that's kind of.
So you really started playing right after high school, like, because
Yes.
One thing that's so striking about your music, there's a couple. Musician. I actually saw you live in Mississippi. There's
Yes.
so much depth in your voice. Like you
Thank
practice
you.
with like kind of what I always think is the sweet spot. It's like 10% of your power at any time. You're like that's your it's very powerful, but you're doing it because you have so much like dynamics in your voice.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. I appreciate that.
And that's on purpose, right?
Yes. I think I'm still I started out even much softer of a singer than I am now, and it's like I think it's over time, just the more and more comfortable I get with myself and just making noise as a person. It's something I'm continuing. I hope to continue to grow into it, but I think there is more available to if I wanted to like learn to do the belting thing. That would be cool. I would like to know how to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's there, but it'll need to be encouraged.
You just have to pick like some like blues gospel song and just go for it.
Yes, exactly. That's my 2020. What's the year is this? 2024. That's my goal this year.
I mean, it's not that it's really needed. It's like, it kind of feels, I'm just kind of surprised that you actually just started really. Sometimes I always wonder, like, how people, you had to be kind of born with that voice too, something, because
Thanks.
the control is there, the tone is there. Oh my God, your tone is incredible. Like, it just, you could sing, like, that's the classic. You could sing the phone book to me and I would be happy. Like, it would be amazing.
You are gassing me up. I really appreciate these compliments.
It's for
Thank
real.
you so much.
and okay, and then you're like a triple whammy because you play guitar, but you also like you're very intentional about your guitar playing too. Like
thanks.
There's a lot of thought in your the notes and the space between the notes, and then the third part of the thing that makes you really amazing is that you're songwriting. So you're creating these, I mean, every song just feels like a flow. There's just this kind of, and I don't know if you think of when you're playing music, if you're thinking of like flow or not, but it feels like you are.
Thank you. I feel like the songs that I continue to play over time are ones that definitely like emotionally or feel that way, or feel like that word sounds to me. Those are the ones that are like keep coming back to, but that means a lot to me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And so when you started in Jackson, did you move to Nashville for music, or what brought you to Nashville?
We were here. I went to high school here, and my dad got me a guitar for graduation, and then I like went to a semester of college, came home, and I hadn't really like tapped into the music scene for people in my age group. There was like a bunch of cool stuff going on, and I had one friend, my friend April, who knew about like the house show scene. There was like Meemaw House with like all kinds of bands playing. This would have been like 2008. Not to date myself, but I had one friend that kind of knew about it, but it wasn't until like, I guess winter 2008, 2009, I went to a open mic for the first time. My brother Will brought me. He was like, I'm going to Cafe Coco, and it was like a 24-hour cafe for eccentrics, basically.
Yeah.
But there was a very robust like Thursday night group of like, it was like a little bit of everything, total weirdos, and then like people that were pursuing like the more like mainstream country route, but everybody got one song and you couldn't talk about it beforehand, and just had to get up there and do it. And so that became like my hang for a couple of years. I was like, this is pretty fun. I want to hang out with these people all the time. I don't want to go back to school. So I started taking guitar lessons and lived at home, as you can imagine, for a couple of years. And then I think in 2011 started making my first like EP.
Yes.
But yeah.
It was 2012 was when it came out, right?
Yeah.
Crazy Talk. Which is amazing.
Thanks.
How did you feel like that record, like, so I'm curious, being in Nashville, like, were you already kind of connected to some cool mentors at that time?
Growing up, my mom had become friends with Kathy Mattea, just not through music. So her, and she, she's an incredible singer and musician, and her hits were like 18 Wheels and a Dozen Roses back in the day.
Man.
And there's a song called Where Have You Been that her husband wrote. So I knew, it just was like, when it sort of, the idea was planted that I might stay home and pursue music, I talked to her, and she connected me to her voice coach of like 30 years, this woman, Phoebe Binkley.
Wow.
Who she's like old Nashville, like old school. I think she was maybe around 70 when I started working with her, and it was $35 a lesson. And she just like never really, I think she raised her rate maybe a couple times over the years, but she really helped me in a lot of ways mainly, and I think, obviously Kathy's encouragement meant so much to me at that stage, especially, but just feeling like Phoebe had this, it was at her house, and the piano room was like the front living room space. And she had her wall of women, is what she called it. And it was these framed photos. It was like Crystal Gale, Reese Witherspoon saw her for when she went to do the Walk the Line movie, and Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen had come for a lesson a couple times, and for something they were working on. Just like, and then, just Ronnie Millsap, Marty Stewart, she had written some songs. So it was just this very like, my parents are definitely kind of new age. My dad was very big on like follow your bliss. So to me, that those felt like little nods of, it just kind of felt like, even though I felt like I had been like brought into this like lineage. And so it was very encouraging, even though I had like a long way to go. But yeah,
I would imagine, like if you're into music, there's just so many weird rat holes and famous history, like in Nashville. I mean, there's also the kind of like mega business side of it too, but just the history and all of and it's so weird. I've been around Nashville multiple times. I've never really, out of all the years, I spent time in Knoxville. I've done, all over. But, by the time I was really kind of getting into music, I was already out in Boulder and then Portland. Yeah, I can't imagine if you live there, like, it's just weird. I mean, now are you kind of, like, your circle is probably pretty interesting now, all the different people you connected to?
I mean, it's so cool how, it's cool and also kind of mind-blowing the way that it's grown, as people talk about all the time. Kind of, I feel like since the TV show Nashville, like it really just was like boom, like this whole new city. But there's still such a deep, the roots go deep, and there's a lot of great musicians, and it's pretty cool just the way that there is like crossover between like the mainstream and like, as far as when people are in town locally hanging out, or how like, incredible guitarists will have residencies at like the dive bar down the street, or, and Honky Tonk Tuesday Night, which is like a favorite event in the Late Show with Todd Daywaite. But yeah, it just, Santa's Ice Cold Pickers.
Really?
Yes. Sunday night, if you're ever there, Zale.
All right. I'm into it. I have some, I'm not being there. So like, and I think things changed a lot, but back when I was the bluegrass world was kind of like what I was so focused on when I was in Durham and Station Inn, at the time. I don't know if it still is this awesome.
It's still there.
Mm-hmm. Do they still kind of like just have the most shredding performances that just local people playing there?
Yes. They do, and it's crazy. That whole area has just the development all around it, and it's this little bitty stone wall building, I think.
It's still there. It's not gone.
I think there was a period of time several years ago where we were worried about it, but it's still there.
I know it's hard to, all these kind of like old cultural things with so much money coming in, right? How does that?
Yes.
Right? How do people value them enough for them to survive, right?
It's very, I feel like, I don't know. Seems like, I feel like our planning, I don't know, the Historic Commission, I feel like maybe it just, everything happened so fast they couldn't pass the rules for certain buildings to not be torn down, and the money was coming in too good. I don't know, but yeah. I try to not be resentful. I don't feel that way as much anymore, but it is pretty bizarre to like, it's just a whole different skyline. And
it's kind of like Austin. Austin did the same thing, back in the day. And we used to play, used to go to this place that was like next to a Pep Boys. And it was like kind of weird. It was called Ginny's Little Longhorn. It was where Dale Watson always played.
Love that. Yeah.
And they had the chicken shit bingo where they, put the board on the pool table and food on there, and chickens and the coop over top, and wherever they pooped is you won,
That is so funny.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
And then it was like fully surrounded. I can't remember if it survived, but it was one of those places that was always threatened. Like, this place doesn't really, it's awesome culturally, all the things that have always happened here. I mean, Dale Watson was at top of his game playing this tiny little place. Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Yes, it was so cool.
Man, he's so cool. And it's so cool how that, like, the Ameripolitan Awards have grown into this, what it's grown into, that whole organization.
Yeah, which I don't know if our listeners know about that, but this, like, there's a kind of a new, Dale Watson's kind of led this, not Americana, right? Not folk, not bluegrass. It's just this kind of a Ameripolitan. How would you describe that? Like, what?
I guess it feels country adjacent to me. I actually have not been to the awards show, but my friend Kelsey Walden won Female Outlaw Artist of the Year last year, and love her. And Teddy and the Rough Riders, and the impression I get, Christina Murray, I think, has played there a bunch and maybe been nominated, and I don't know, but
she's new though. Like, actually, I'm really interested in her. I have not really heard of her, and she did so Christina Murray did a record, and then she did a bluegrass version of it, right? Am I thinking of the right one?
I think so.
I'm thinking of Brittany. Who am I thinking of? Oh, I'm sorry, my brain is.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, but the Ameripolitan is kind of like this country adjacent, and it's not exactly country. Could have some rockabilly. Could have some like Glenn Campbell kind of like countrypolitan kind of stuff, right? Like, that's like,
yes,
right.
I think so, and I feel like maybe it's to kind of celebrate and honor the hardworking country musicians that, like Dale Watson, who like have played around forever
and is a legend.
Like,
and falls through the cracks, right? They fall through the cracks.
Yes, and like kind of really like herald those artists that are, I think some of them are the younger artists that are being recognized within that, are starting to get more and more like traction outside of that world, but it's really cool.
I'm all for it. Like, I think that
love it.
The idea that, it's people kind of there's this whole thing, we always talk, just feels more true. Like, we've had this discussion of like everything is so homogenized, right? And so like having folks who are kind of the cultural, who have a different perspective, right? And kind of folks can really gravitate and trust that perspective is kind of something that's a weird niche we fill out here I was gonna
say,
we can throw together, metal, old time, John Haywood from Kentucky next to like some cumbia band, right? And nobody blinks an eye anymore because all of it's so good, like it doesn't really, and that's kind of the whole point. It's like, just like music, be open to it. And I feel like the Ameripolitan Awards is kind of the similar cool sub world that folks really trust,
yes,
that kind of and it doesn't have a really strong voice, outside of because it's not commercial, right?
And then there's like the little exceptions.
That's so cool. I was thinking the kind of Nashville thing where the pressure of development versus cultural value, and there's not really a way to subsidize the cultural stuff, so it's at the mercy of kind of that system. And we are also seeing that big time out here. Like, and in a couple ways in Portland, we're one of the only cities without a major AAG or Live Nation venue, right? And they're all independently owned venues. I think we're the only city. It's not going to last. They're coming in multiple dimensions, trying to come and build the big 4,000 person, Mission Ballroom.
Are y'all getting the next sphere? Are y'all getting the second sphere?
They want, there's a couple venues missing in our ecosystem, and they want to like help be the, here will be the generous souls to come really finance this. But it's the non-homogenized stuff that we are so kind of, and Portland, credit to it, this fiercely independent place. it happens on the development side too. So like this farm out here, we have this kind of 100 acres in the middle of like the urban growth boundary. It should be houses and apartments. So when you come here, you can kind of recognize this thing. And if it wasn't for the Pendarvises being kind of like dreamers like us and kind of this matchup and hoping and thinking that there's something better we can do, the default is just like, I don't care if it's a cool place. I'm going to build I'm going to make money on it.
Sell
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's cool. Like we're in this weird kind of position where to fight for something. And we just kind of, we don't, this is all dreamy stuff. So like forever it took us to kind of build something like to have where people even took us seriously. Right. And then all of a sudden we always knew that the kind of good music wins. And so once some of those artists become famous and you do that and that happens over and over, I'm like, well, it's not a secret. They're actually really good. They're just, like we fit in that ecosystem where we can really help people on their way up. And it's like the now and out here, the kind of Nashville kind of thing that we're going through, or Austin, is it doesn't make sense for us to like have some kind of cultural thing, conservation district thing. But we're dreaming big. We're like, well, what if we could save this forest and we could build some kind of cultural district for this future, city out here? And it's totally ludicrous, but it totally makes sense at the same time. And, only way we've been able to do it is the neighborhood and the city. And nobody really wants to see a beautiful hillside of this ginormous forest just turn into more houses and apartments. It just, and there's no, we're the only big cultural thing out here. And so like some of that, I feel like Ameripolitan, the certain venues, all of this is like hopeful stuff that's kind of still in this ecosystem. And as much as things are kind of homogenized, right, there's still this fierceness. And in the music world, I kind of, what cracks me up is like country music, and we, like in a way that it's never been popular. And you kind of fall on the kind of Laurel Canyon side of that spectrum. I'd say there's some country in your music. I don't know. You would say
just a little. There's a hint of it.
A hint. Yeah. It's a potpourri.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's cool to see. I mean, it's cool for all my pals that are like true country musicians for it to be kind of hitting this zeitgeist stride, I guess, and I love to watch fashion shows on YouTube and seeing the country, the Western influence in designs for this year is like, it's just cool. I'm like, what happens after this? I hope like it sustains for a while and doesn't just blow through, but it's been on a build on a rise for a while.
I know
pop country is huge, but it's
always there, but it's just the classic country, like Charlie Crockett, we just saw him, Coulter Wall, Tyler, I mean, they're all like kind of rock stars, like out here, and when we had them at the festival, they were like nothing, right? Like they just it cracks me up though. It just can't, like all of these 20-year-olds that are kind of our kids, like are like into that music now. Zach Bryan's kind of like the polished like country version of it, but then you have all this other stuff that's really popular, like and then Sturgill was out here twice before he was kind of the start of that, really, in a weird way.
Totally.
And then
Sturgill, and then Margot.
Margot, she's amazing. Yeah, totally. I love it. And I love that, like Billy Strings too can make bluegrass cool, in
arenas.
In arenas.
Sick.
Right?
Yes. That's crazy. It's awesome. I think my dad went to the Billy Strings show at Bridgestone Arena.
What did he think?
He loved it. He said that he loves it.
It's so cool.
Yeah. He's like a Doc Watson head for sure. So like,
he's amazing.
Like, that boy can play.
Oh, he can play. And there's this really awesome friend. There's a kid band that played at Pickathon last year, the Mountain Grass Unit. They live in Birmingham, and they go up to you have to check them out, but these kids can play lights out. Yeah. Get to like he gives Billy Strings every bit of a run for his money. Most technical guitar player And they're 20, 21, you know, like
Yeah.
not even 21 yet. So cool.
So cool.
And I love, you know, like our whole kind of mission in life is like, okay, we're going to put all this great music, and we just want to bend pop culture a little. We're like, come on, get out of your freaking, you know, like,
Yep.
I mean, it's like a group effort, a bunch of folks doing it, hopefully, you know, start kind of stuck into that. But it's really encouraging. And your music, I just am so excited about. I want to brag on you a second, because when I went to see you in Mississippi, you were there on the night of Billy Strings. I don't know if you remember the night.
I don't think I realized that. We were in our own world that day coming in.
Well, it was like packed at the thing. And so I mean, it wasn't a packed house. I was like shocked, because when I stood right up in front of you with my friend Nehemiah and couldn't get out of your spell. Like
thank you.
You have this, and you had this insane guitar, the same like guitar player. I don't know if he's coming with you.
Yeah, Sean Thompson.
Is he coming?
Sean Thompson's Weird Ears is his own music. You should check out. He's coming.
Super duper tasty.
Shredder.
Just
thoughtful shredder. Yes.
And yeah, he's always like holding back. Like you're getting like, I mean, his 5% is just on the money all the time, whether it's backup or lead. It didn't matter, right? He's just it's crazy. You had a great band, really great band.
Thanks, Skyway Man, lives.
Is he coming too?
Country. He's coming too.
He played organ with you that night, right?
Yeah.
So good.
Oh yeah, he opened that show. There was like a few different openers for the tour. We kind of like swapped it around. They're all so talented. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, there's something, and I try to emulate this. Like when I play, is like I want to get lost in my music, right? I want to feel. I don't want to be in my head. I want to be kind of in the, you know, present with the music that I'm playing. Like there's a huge difference when I can do that versus when I'm just thinking about the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just feel like, I don't know if that's something you think about when you play, but you really emanate. It's like you are in it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I definitely am trying to be as present as possible, but you never know how it comes across to other people. Or I got to do some dates opening for Angel Olsen at the beginning of last year, I guess, like January 2023. And that's how I felt watching her play. I just was like, it's just like mesmerizing her.
Yeah.
She's such an incredible talent, but just so captivating. So I always striving for that.
It's really, really cool. Like I love that absolute kind of presence of just being in it. And it's just differences. I can tell when somebody's just kind of playing their songs, like let's rip this song, versus and it has a lot to do with your guitar playing. And because I really enjoyed you in your solo part of your set too. I was just like,
thanks.
You have such a great band, but it just gives you even more space to play with your guitar playing and your voice.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I was just listening to your latest single, which actually was from like 2021, right? Actually, you overdubbed it.
Yes. I put out like
side.
Oh yeah, I put it out actually just in April, but I recorded it in 2021. Yes. Yeah.
On a 4-track somewhere, right?
On a 4-track. Yeah. In my hallway.
Yeah. And then I loved your overdubs, your vocals. You really had a resonant and some other, you probably had an instrument that sounds like back on top of that or something.
Yeah, I had a little church organ and 12-string. I don't think, and then Alec that was playing bass in Portland he played over the bass part on that too.
Oh, it sounds so great.
Thanks.
I love that you just took, you can tell that when you were in the hallway, you were in it. You know what I mean? Like it's that cut.
Thanks.
It's kind of fun that you would take that versus redo it when, take in a studio.
Thanks. Yeah, I tried to like retrack the vocal, but just where I kind of like, sometimes you just have to like leave it where you had it.
Yeah. And I love, I want to know where you're going. I loved your last record.
Thank you.
so much. Lighten Up was just an amazing record for me. But
Thank you.
Early Blue off of your new single. I'm guessing there's a record. I can't tell. Like is there a record coming?
That in time. That song is a FJ McMahon cover. So I recorded.
It's a cover.
Yeah.
Okay. Such a good song.
But I love that song so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been like chipping away writing some songs and trying to envision, like, I'm just like, maybe I'll do it this way. It feels so like final once you make the plan to go in and record, and I guess it doesn't have to be, but I think I can get caught spending a little too much time thinking about it. So
thinking about it, you just need the raw materials and the feeling. Like, I think I can tell seeing you live as your band is really developing too, like really coalescing around you. So I bet you, like, if you took that into the studio with some material, like, it will really, come across even totally different, because the band will really be a big part of that.
Yeah, they're all great.
Is it the same band you had as Lighten Up? Is it?
It's not. I actually recorded that at Jonathan Wilson's place.
Oh,
and
wow.
He played drums, and there's a reason it sounds so good. He produced it and played drums and some guitar on it, and then he brought his two friends, Drew Erickson, who did keys and string arrangements. He's done like string arrangements for like Wise Blood and Lana Del Rey and with good. Jonathan. He's a wizard. They all are. And Jake Blanton on bass, who plays with the Killers as his like road gig, but he played on that. He made Bedouin's debut record.
Such a good artist too,
with her and Gus. And so it was like, I flew out there 2021, still had a test and everything to go before we went in the studio, and wore masks the whole time. And,
oh my god.
I just went to Topanga Canyon for 10 days, and I had met Jonathan maybe, I think, twice. Once at Newport Folk in 2019, and then once we had dinner in Nashville and kind of talked about the idea of recording together. And so I felt pretty shy going out there, but it felt pretty comfy pretty quick, because they are like good friends and have worked together a lot. So it's kind of just like hopping in the van, watching YouTube videos, making each other laugh,
that kind of like community kind of producer. We had we lost a really great like organ version of that, Richard Swift, who was exactly that. Like, you would show up, and I got to see Lonnie Holly actually record some stuff, which he never recorded. I mean, I was this 2012 or something, and he was, he never does a song twice.
Yeah.
But Richard has this magic, I know he worked with like the early Sharon Von Etten, and so I'm sure it was like that environment where you come into this like very confident, cool place, and they just like bring out the best in you and them,
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I love Richard Swift. I got turned on to his stuff by Jerry Bernhardt, who produced Putting on Airs. And
oh wow,
our friend Jessie Balin that lives here, I think she's from LA or lived there for a long time. She made, I think, 3 records with Richard Swift, and they're incredible.
Yeah, he just feels it. He was always just such deep person. I mean, I had some really memorable. We did a huge memorial to him in 2019 with Nathaniel Ratliff and Eric Johnson, Fruit Bats, and the Lucius, and a whole bunch of people.
Yes.
Who had all these connections to him, like his music, and he was just this super deep human. It was so cool. But
so cool.
I think it's cool though, when you do your new record, do you think you'll do it with the band, or you'll do it in the studio again, or do you not know yet?
I am not sure yet. I think I've got a couple ideas. I definitely think I'll do it with I don't know.
You don't know. You don't want to get in trouble.
I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble.
This is like, I think it's okay that this is your music,
I'm like, just realizing I was like, oh, I haven't actually said out loud, I don't think, to anyone my current vision for it. So
it's okay.
Maybe I'll wait and to see if I stick with it.
It's cool though, like just to think. Do you think you'll have some of those new songs at the festival?
Yes.
Woohoo!
Yes. We'll be definitely playing the new single, and then there's a song that has not been recorded yet that I think is on the list currently, and maybe we'll add one more. We shall see.
You are workshopping. So how is your adventure out to Pickathon? Is that it goes through Newport?
Yes. I'm gonna go up to Newport with this covers project that I made with Matt Davidson, who plays under Twain, the moniker Twain, and then our friend Paul DeFiglia. So we're doing some kind of freak folk, like Jesus freak folk songs at Newport. They're letting us do that. And yeah, so I'll come back here and then we're going to fly out and see y'all.
That's awesome. Are you coming out for the weekend? I can't remember.
Yes.
You do Pickathon right. You can be our guests. There's really zero reason to leave here. We feed you, take care of you.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So you can.
Yeah. I think currently we're there. We get in Thursday night, and I think some flights are on Sunday, but
we'll try to
see what happens
as much as you can, because you'll be sad to leave Fantasy Island when you get here.
I will. I already know.
Yes, it's good. It's super awesome. Like, here's how you are penetrating pop culture out here. Okay, so I was at this little. On my street, there's this ice cream store called Salt and Straw, right? And all the teenagers, young 20 kids here are working there because it's just like a good job. You can do it, and they don't probably pay that great, but there's probably good tips.
Yeah.
And I'm with my dog Cora, who was the mascot last year, not this year, and I have my Pickathon shirt on. It's probably kind of like a lot of my shirts are. And this, I don't know. She must have been 20, 24. I don't know. You can't guess. Like, are you going to Pickathon? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. And they're like, I really want to go. I'm so looking forward to Courtney Barnett and Anna Tivell and Erin Rae. I really want to see Erin. And so I was like, yes, like these are the bands that I hope that they would love after. But now they're starting to pay attention to the list when we put it out, and they're like,
yes.
And these are like kids that should be on like total TikTok and like completely off the rails in a different direction, but they're like turned on to your music already.
That rules.
Isn't that rule? It is rule.
Yes.
So I think you're gonna have a really great fan base, folks out here that are excited to be you. We're all super fans, so come and enjoy the love.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, and
thank you.
Yeah, and the flow, and it's really been awesome to have you on my show, even though I'm at the farm.
Yes, thanks for talking.
Yeah, full of sunscreen. Gonna go back out to this crazy build, and if you're listening to this, you do not want to miss Erin at Pickathon. You do not want to miss. As you know, Pickathon is this fragile dream. It may or may not happen ever again because. This is just not the most rational thing, but it is going to be the best year we've ever had, hands down, music wise.
The
hands
lineup,
down, so awesome.
Good.
So come and enjoy us. Come see Erin. Thank you for listening to episode 42, and we'll see you next week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Pickathon podcast. This podcast is produced by Zale Schoenborn, Tanner McCullough, and Evan Throckmorton. Our artwork is by Travis Bone, and additional support by Ryan Stiles. The music you heard in this episode was by our guest of honor, Erin Rae. The songs included were Putting on Airs, True Love's Face, and the one we're riding out on right now, her latest single, On Her Side. Be sure to check out our Pickathon Patreon, where we have exclusive interviews, content, and insights into the Pickathon world. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you hear your podcasts. And tell a friend about where they can get on the Pickathon bandwagon. Thank you to the whole Pickathon family. And like Zale said, we'll catch you all next week.